Every strategy to retire early works, all of them, which is exactly why almost nobody pulls it off. You've run the number at least once, probably at night in your phone's calculator after a workday that made you wonder how many more of those you have left. Annual spending times 25. Then you looked at it for 4 seconds and closed the app, because either that number was impossible or it was possible, which is somehow worse. Possible just means it's a question of what you'll hand over and for how long. My name is Nick, and today we're going through every strategy for hitting it early. Lean, fat, coast, barista, geo-arbitrage, real estate, and a government loophole almost nobody knows about. Underneath it all, one equation in different costumes. Delia schedules surgeries outside Dayton for $61,000 a year. Wendell already did this, retired at 44, mows his lawn Tuesday mornings while his street is at work, and one of them is about to learn the hardest part of this has nothing to do with the market. So start with that equation, because once you see it, every strategy here stops looking like a strategy and starts looking like a costume. You take what you spend in a year and divide it by the percentage you can safely pull from a portfolio annually. If that's 4, you're just multiplying your spending by 25. Spend 40,000, you need $1 million. That's the whole movement. Everything else is arguing about the 2 numbers you plug in. And here's what makes it cruel. Your savings rate pulls both levers at once. Every dollar you don't spend gets invested, so your pile grows faster, and it's also deleted from your target, so the finish line runs backward into your arms. Mr. Money Mustache published a table in 2012 that broke a lot of brains. At 5% real returns, save 10% of your take home and you work 51 years. 50%, 17, 75%, 7 years from 0. And it isn't a scam, it's just arithmetic. But that 5% real return is doing an enormous amount of unpaid labor, and it comes back to bite everything, none of which means anything until you see it on an actual kitchen table. So here's Delia's. She's 34, 61,000 gross. After federal tax, Ohio state tax, FICA, and the 3% she puts in to get the match, she takes home $38.50 a month. Rent, $11.50. Car payment, $420. And before you say anything, it's a 4-year-old Corolla. Insurance, $145. Gas, $160, because nothing in her county is walkable, and the hospital is 19 miles each way. Groceries, $420, which is why there's a chest freezer in the garage, because bulk chicken only makes sense if you can store it. Utilities and phone, $310. Student loan, $230. Health premium, $180. And $200 toward her mother's prescriptions, which isn't a line item in any budgeting app, but is absolutely a line item in her life. $32.15. She has $635 left before a single unplanned thing happens. Before the alternator, before the dentist, before a birthday. Now put $635 into the equation. She spends about $38,600 a year, so her number at 25 times is $965,000. Saving every remaining dollar at 7%, she gets there in 33 years. She's 34, that's 67. So doing everything right, sacrificing nothing further because there is nothing further, early retirement for her means retiring 2 years late. Keep 635 in your head, because every strategy we're about to walk through is just a different way of attacking it. With Lean Fire, you shrink the target instead of growing the pile, spending under $40,000 a year. Some run it at 18 to 24, which is less a retirement plan and more a dare. At 3.5%, a $25,000 life needs $714,000. A $40,000 life needs $1.14 million. That gap is $400,000 of your time bought by wanting less. And notice something. Delia's already there. Lean Fire asks you to sacrifice down into her number. She's been standing in it since she was 26. For her, it isn't a strategy, it's a description. Fat Fire is the opposite. Over $100,000 a year, $2.5 million minimum, and you don't get there on frugality. You get there on income. Chubby Fire sits in between, where you retire early and still replace a transmission without calling a family meeting about it. Now, Coast Fire, criminally underrated, and it brings in Roman. 38 sells software in Austin, makes $240,000, and has a spreadsheet named after the date he intends to quit. Optimized for a date instead of a life. And I say that with affection because I have absolutely been that guy. Here's the idea. You front load hard, then stop contributing entirely.